just writing one sentence, one question. Good question.
I need to get a paper.
Oh, sorry. You're standing, you're now talking. Okay, and it's okay, I know not everybody's finished, but that's all right. All right, so let's hear some things that you notice. So what do you notice about these two dot plots? So,
That there's more of a variety of ages in data set B than there is in data set A.
all right, so more variety in B. All right, Lily?
There's more people under 20 in data set A.
Hmm?
There's a lot of kids in
All right, what else do we notice? What else do we notice? There's really no right or wrong answers with notice and wonders, because it's what you notice and it's what you wonder. So don't be like, oh, I got it wrong. There are no right or wrong answers, right? So let me get at least two more. Two more notices, come on, y'all. I know everybody was right, or looked like it. Get away from each other now. Wyatt, what did you notice?
I noticed that there is less of a variety in the first set.
Perfect. So less variety in A, and then let me get one more. Someone's got on Miss Dixon's class. Let me get someone from Miss Dixon's class. Nico, what'd you notice? Can't hear anything. 20 dots? Perfect. Alright, so both have 20 dots. Alright, so what do we wonder? What do we wonder? So this is a question you might still have, Delilah. Okay, so how do we find mean, median, mode, and range? Okay, good question. All right, what else? What else do we wonder? Levi, what do you wonder? Not an option. You can't play stupid in here because I know you're smart, so you can try to. What do you wonder? What? Why is the arrow on 15? Fantastic. How many of you guys noticed the arrows? How many of you guys wondered what they meant? Okay, all right, we need two more. Two more, come on, y'all. It's gonna be a long day if this is how we're gonna do it. Taj, what did you notice? I'm sorry, what did you wonder? Isaac, what did you wonder?
Why is there also near around 20?
Say it again.
Why is there also near around 20?
All right, we will go ahead and move on, but this is gonna be a lot of participation today, guys. If you don't know, that's fine, but at least try. That's all that I ask. I ask that you try. All right, moving on. So the 5-number summary. We did discuss this yesterday. And real quick refresh of our memories. What's the first number in a 5-number summary? Yes,
Minimum.
minimum. All right, what is the next number? Sweetie, with your back to us, you can't see anything, so I need you to turn or move, because you're not getting anything from this with your back to us. So get up and move to either the floor or something. That's not gonna work for me today. Ronnie, Q1, what comes next? What comes next? Yes, sir?
Q2.
Now, yeah, so Q2, also known as
Median.
median. All right, what comes next? Taj, Q3, and the last number, Sophie?
Maximum.
Maximum. So we are going to be using the 5-number summary today when we're going through our activity. All right, so it says here are the ages of a group of 20 party goers you saw earlier, shown in order from least to greatest. Why is it important that they're in order from least to greatest? I'm not gonna tell you it again to get up and move. Please move. Why is it important that they're in order from least to greatest? What are we finding when we're finding essentially the 5-number summary? What are we finding? Now, the median of the median of the median, right? So in order for us to find the median, what must our data be? What must it be? Yes, sir?
In order.
In order. All right, that's very important. I know we struggled a little bit with that yesterday, making sure that our numbers are in order. They were very nice to us, and they already did that for us. All right, so we are gonna be using this data set for the different activities that we're gonna be doing. So you guys will slide over to this side. I'm gonna keep the data set on the screen so that we can see it. Does that make sense? All right, so number 1 says, find and mark the median on the table and label it 50th percent. The data is now partitioned into an upper and lower half. What did I do? All right, so looking at our data set, over here, we gotta find our median, right? That's what step number 1 tells us to do. Raise your hand and tell me, how do I find my median? How do I find my median? Kylie, how do I find the median? Okay, so we're gonna cross off till we get to either one number in the middle or 2 numbers in the middle. So what do you notice? What do you notice when we get to the middle? Jonathan?
There's two.
There's two numbers. Now, with these two numbers though, they're both what number?
20.
They're both 20, so what is our median gonna be?
20.
20. So we don't, again, we don't have to add or divide anything because it's the same exact number. So I am crossing these two numbers off, but I'm putting 20 here, and I'm writing the 50th percentile. Does everybody understand that? Why that's the 50th percentile? Is there anybody who doesn't understand? And it's okay if you don't understand. All right, so what did we just do with our data by finding the median? What did we just do? So essentially, we split our data in half, right? So every number from our median lower is 50%, and every number from our median and higher is 50%. Because percentages equal what? What's our total percentage that we're looking for? Jenna? 100%. So right now, by finding the median, we just split our data in half. That's why it's the 50th percentile. Does that make sense? We good for the most part? All right, remember, when we're dealing with quartiles and interquartile range, yesterday we talked about the word quarter, right? How many quarters are in a dollar?
4.
4. So essentially today, you're gonna see your data split up into 4 quarters, or percentages, 25%. All right, so 1B says find and mark the middle value of the lower half of the data, excluding the median. Now, our median, and I'm gonna make this a little bit more profound so that I know, so I would go ahead and do that too, just so you guys know, in between those two 20s. So we need to cover up the top half, just like we did yesterday, so everyone just cover up the top half with the hand that you don't write with. And what do we need to do with that lower set of data? What do we need to do with it, Isabel?
Find the median, cross it off every time.
Right, so we're gonna find the median, so we're doing the same thing. Why did I just include that 20? Why did I include that 20, Christiana? Because it's not our median. We used it to find the median, but it's not our median. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. All right, and then what are you left with? Technically, you're left with two numbers again, right? So we're left with 10 and we're left with 11. So let's add those two up real quick. What does 10 plus 11 give you? Tosh? 21. And then I have to divide this by 2. So what is 21 divided by 2?
10 and a half.
Don't call it out.
10 and a half.
10 and a half. All right, so this is 10 and a half. And this is labeled as our 25th percentile. So does everybody understand why it's the 25th percentile? Anybody not understand? And again, it's okay if you don't understand. I'd rather you say I don't understand this game. We're good? What is 10 and a half also? Something else that we've been talking about, especially a lot yesterday. What else would we call 10 and a half? We wouldn't just call it the 25th percentile. What else would we call it? Bonnie? Q1. All right. What would we call our 50th percentile? Q2 or median. So what do you think we're going to call the next thing that we're about to do? Q3 or what? Who said it? Did somebody say it? I thought.
75th percentile?
Aiden. It's the 75th percentile. All right. So go ahead, cover up your bottom half of your data. And we are left with 28 and 30. So what number falls between 28 and 30? Was it 29? And this is our 75th percentile. Also known as our
Q3.
Q3. maximum number be? If I wanted to, if you answered me and I said, well, what is the percentile of our maximum number? What is our percentile of our maximum number? Tyra, what do you think? So what is the percentile of number 40? 42, sorry. Not sure? That's okay. How many of you guys are not sure what you would label 42 as? Okay. So I have a question. Is it your highest number?
Yes.
Is it the maximum number?
Yes.
Is it the last number? So if we labeled our Q1 25th percentile, our Q2 our median 50th percentile, our Q3 75th percentile, what would that be labeled as? If you see the pattern that we're going in, Taj, what do you think we're gonna label that very last highest number? Not Q3, because we've already used Q3. What's the last thing? It would be maximum, you're correct. What percentile? That is your 100th percentile right here. And I know it doesn't ask that, but I want you guys to understand. And this would actually be labeled as your Q4. Okay? So just, that's a little extra, you don't need to necessarily know that right now for 6th grade. That's good for you guys to see a visual of how many sections is it broken into now?
4.
Broken into 4. 25% of each part of your data. Now, this lower portion, section, what's the percentage of 100 that this one is showing? See how good we are. Remember, our percentage is out of 100. We broke it into 4s. What is this set of data percentage? What do you think? Yes, sir? 25%. What is the Q1 and Q2 percentage of data? Yes, ma'am, in the back? 50%. What about Q1, Q2, and Q3? Eva? And then obviously the whole is 100%. So that's kind of how it all works together. Okay? All right, so let's move on to D. So D says you have now partitioned the data set into 4 pieces. Each of the 3 values that cut the data is called a quartile, which we already know that. The first or lower quartile is 25%. The second is the median, which is Q2, and the third is the 75th percentile, which we've done all that already. You guys did that without even knowing that you were going to have to do that, right? All right, the last one, it says label the last value in the data sets, the minimum and the greatest. So what is our minimum number? I can't even read it. What's the minimum? Kendra? 7. So minimum is 7, and our maximum is what? What is our maximum? Ronnie? 42. All right, so number 2 says record the 5 values that you just identified. They are the 5-number summary. So go ahead in here and label your 5-number summary and stand up when you're done. So your minimum, Q1, Q2, which I guess I'm gonna draw an arrow and write median, Q3, and maximum. Go ahead and stand up when you have that ready to go. So raise your hand. Christopher, there's our minimum. What's our minimum number? All right, what's our Q1? Not 10. 10 and a half. What's our median? What is our Q3? And what is our maximum? Perfect. All right, let's go ahead, turn page. All right, so it says the median or Q2 value of the data set is 20. This tells us that half of the party goers are 20 or younger, and that the other half are 20 or older. What does each of the following values tell us about the ages of the party goers? So I want you guys to keep your page here. I'm going to flip back to the data so that we don't have to flip back and forth. All right, so what was it, So what does Q3 tell us? So what does Q3 tell us? What do you think? Q3 represents 75%, right? So what do we know about 75% of our party goers?
That they're 29, or that they're older than 20.
Close. But let's add a little bit to what she said. So she said they're 29 or they're older than 20, which technically are both true, but are all of the party goers 29? No. So let's just fine tune her answer just a little bit. What can we add, Lily?
That 75% of the partygoers are 29 or younger.
Yes.
And then the rest of them are older than 29.
Yeah. All right, so 75% are 29 or younger. So you have the right answer, we just had to add a little bit to it. Okay. All right, what do we know about our minimum? So our minimum was 7, right? So what do we know about our minimum number? What do you think?
The youngest you can be is 7.
The youngest you could be, or the youngest is 7? Yeah. We'll say the youngest party goer. Okay, and then obviously, what do we know about our maximum? Yes.
The oldest is 22.
Yes. So the oldest party goer is 42. All right, what do you guys think? Not terrible? Okay, makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit more context from what we did yesterday, so we're kind of putting it into something now. Jonathan, you have to hear next? Excuse me.
For B and C, I wrote everyone is 7 or older, or everyone is, C, I wrote everyone's 42 or older.
And that's fine too. Yep, that is perfectly fine. All right, any questions before we move on to our next activity? We're good? How do we feel? Like, give me a thumbs up if you're like, okay, I think I'm getting it. A middle thumb if you're like, I'm still a little unsure. Or down thumb if you're like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is, you're looking at me. You're not looking at anybody else. I just need here, here, or here. And I don't care. I just need to know where we're at. That includes you. Thank you. Kyra, where are you at? Thank you, thank you. Kylie. Okay. Zoe, where you at? Here, here, here. Are you good? Are you like still unsure? Or are you down? All right. Moving on to 15.3. So it says here's a dot plot you saw in an earlier class. It shows how long Ethan's bus rides to school take in minutes over 12 days. All right, so look at that data. It says write the 5-number summary for this data set by finding the minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the maximum. Now, you obviously cannot do that on the dot plot. So what do you have to do first? What do we have to do? Mikhail. Did you say write out the numbers from least to greatest? Yes. All right, so we're gonna do 6, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, and 12. Alright, so from here as a group, you are finding your minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and your maximum. Okay, as a group, you are working together to do this. Stand up when you are finished. Go. And you guys, like the 4 of you, just work together, and then the rest. Okay, so you guys are working together. I'm just gonna have you two work together, okay? Just so you have someone to kind of bounce off as well. Sorry. You guys need to make sure you're showing your work. If you have 2 numbers for your median, you have to show your work a little bit.
Oh, you need the. Yes. Okay, the kids are 8 and 9, so it's inwards. It's 9. So in between 8 and 9, I know it's 8 and 9. It's like it's like. Okay, we get their posters. They're like right next to each other. One in the very middle of all the numbers, or is that Q2? Oh, Q2.
We're done.
Oh yeah, Q3.
Stand up when you have your answers, please.
Great. No, no, no. I just skipped them. Why don't you tell us? I did not.
that. Or like a word. Wait, in this mini class is just annotated. You know, I had used to annotate and do
All right, let's go ahead and go over these. All right, so raise your hand and tell me what my minimum number is. What is my minimum number? Yes, ma'am. 6. All right. What is my maximum number? What is my maximum number? Way in the back, sir. 12. So I found the 2 easiest ones, and I always do that just because they're the easiest ones. So I don't have to do anything other than just look at them. So now I have to find my median. So I'm going to cross off. And so I end up with 8 and 9. So what number is between 8 and 9? Camden? 8 and a half. Now, I did tell y'all that you had to show your work just because I need you to practice a little bit of word division. But yes, our median is 8 and a half. What is our Q1? So this is the strength. So it's all right, so my Q1, do I include the 8? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do I include the 8? Pause, you sure?
Yes.
Positive? All right, so I'm going to include the 8. And then I'm going to end up with 7 and 8 as my 2 numbers in the middle. What is between 7 and 8? Troy? 7.5 or 7 and a half. And then my Q3, I'm including my 9. And I end up with 9 and 10. What is in the middle of 9 and 10? Wyatt, since you're talking and don't feel the need to listen, what's in the middle? No. That's why it's important for you to, huh? Yeah, stop talking. Do you understand? It's cool. You can go. Bye. Go to the office. Don't you think it's funny? Do you need to go also? Why? I'm not playing. You can go with him. Goodbye. Yeah? Bye. Alright, so minimum is 6. Q1 is 7.5. Median is 8.5. Q3 is 9.5. And maximum is 12. Alright, how did we feel having to kind of do that a little bit on our own? How do we feel about that? How many of us were a little bit nervous because we had a lot of 2 numbers for our medians? And that's where it got a little bit hard. Okay? Alright, so number 2 says the range of a data set is one way to describe the spread of values in a data set. It is the difference between the greatest and the least data values. What is the range of Elena's data? So what is the range? We're not talking about interquartile range. What is the range? How do we find that again? Raise your hand and tell me. Okay, it's been a while since we talked about it. Nico. Yes. So you're subtracting that largest number from the smallest number. What is our largest number? What does it tell us on our paper? What is our largest number? Christiana. And what is our smallest? Christiana. All right. 12 minus 6 would be 6. So our range for the whole data is 6. All right. 3 says another number that is commonly used to describe the spread of values in a data set is the interquartile range, which is the difference between Q1 and Q3. So what is our interquartile range? So what 2 numbers are we using to find the interquartile range? If you're not sure, do you have notes in your notebook that could maybe help you? William, get in together. How many of you guys have notes somewhere in your notebook that we've taken that tells you how to find the IQR? Why is not everybody's hand raised? We did this yesterday. two numbers are we gonna be subtracting to find out IQR?
Q3 and Q1.
Alright, so right here, I'm gonna write IQR equals Q3 minus Q1. So my Q3 is 9.5 minus my Q1, which is 7.5, which is what? It's 9.5 minus 7.5. Raise your hand. 9.5 minus 7.5. Yes, sir.
2.
2. Alright, so it says what fraction of the data values are between the lower and the upper quartile? So this is where it does get a little bit tricky. It says use your answer to complete the following statement. So the interquartile range is the length that contains the middle blank of the values in the data set. So I want you all to go back to that first page. And this data set that we broke up and we talked about, remember, each one of these is how much? That's you. How much is each one of these sections? No. 25%, right? So it's 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 equals 100. Well, what if I take away 25? How much do I have left? What if I take away another 25? How much do I have left? So the IQR, or your interquartile range, is what percent of your data? 50%. It's the middle 50%. Does that make sense to you guys? So you see what I did? How many of you guys are like, I don't really saw what you did? You want me to do it again? I feel like someone in the back is a little like, not paying attention. You guys good back there? What'd I just do? Alright, so at this point, if you're in the back and you cannot see, I need you to stand up so you see this. I need you to face forward so you can see this. Everybody, if you're in the back, just stand up. Alright, so whole data set equals how much percentage? The whole data set equals how much of a percentage? Yes.
100.
100%. So if I take away 75, or if I take away this amount, how much do I have left? Yes. 75%. If I take away the first portion, how much do I have left? Yes, sir. 50%. So my interquartile range represents what percentage of my data? 50%. Does that make sense? Yes, no? I hope so.
Yes.
Hope so. All right. Go back to this question. And we're just going to write 50% of the values in the data set. All right, so it says here are two dot plots that represent two data sets. So again, we're looking at data set A, data set B. Questions? Just looking at it. All right, flip your paper over. So it says, without doing any calculations, predict which data set has the smaller IQR and explain the reasoning. So I'm going to keep this paper here so you guys don't have to flip back and forth. So again, the first thing you're looking for is which data set has the smaller IQR. And you're not calculating anything, just looking at the data. Stand up if you think it is data set A. Stand up if you think it is data set B. All right, so who is brave enough to tell me why they think it's data set B? I'm not taking no answers from you guys. Elijah, why do you think it's data set B? Just because everybody else stood up?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
What do you notice about your data?
there's more.
Is it closer together or is it further spread out?
Closer together.
Exactly. That is why the IQR for data set B is smaller. So go ahead and have a seat. So look or data set B, because the variation of data is closer. okay? And you know that because it's more squished together, it's more together in one area of the graph. Give me a thumbs up when you have this written down. Thumbs up when you have this written down. All right, so we're gonna do a stand-up thing again. So this time the question says, which data set has the smaller range? All right, so when you stand up, just be prepared to explain why. All right, so stand up if you pick data set A. Stand up if you pick data set B. All right, so we all picked the same one again. Why? Why? Miko, why did you pick B? What do you notice about the data, Miko? Is it closer together? Is it spread out? What? It's closer together, right? So more than likely our range is also going to be smaller because the numbers are going to be closer. Okay? All right, have a seat. So it's pretty much the exact same reasoning as A. So data set or data B, because the numbers are closer together. Bless you. All right, number 5, you were doing as a group. Okay, so you obviously you don't have to do data set A, right? Because we didn't say data set A for any of our answers. So you guys have to calculate essentially your 5-number summary and get your IQR and your range. Okay, so you're using this data set only. And you're working together as a group that you're sitting. Okay? Go ahead. Data set B on the front side. So this data set right there. Yep, that's the one you have to find, because that was your answer for both. Quick question, is that what you're doing? What do you have to do first?
Read the dot order.
Put them all in order.
You have to put them in order from what?
Least to greatest.
Least to greatest. Elijah, you need to work together.
back and forth.
Does that because
I found it.
Actually, no, that's 25. I'm already on my Q3. 27. I feel bad now.
Stand up when you have your answer. Alright, you're gonna get about 1 more minute and then we're gonna go over this.
I did all the work on
Yeah. That's what you should have essentially wrote out on your paper.
Yeah.
And this is where we start, right?
Yep.
So our question is asking us to find the IQR and the range. But unfortunately, we gotta do all this extra work just to find the IQR, right? Gotta know our Q1 and we have to know our Q3. So let's start with the easy stuff. What is my minimum? What's my minimum number? And even if you didn't do your data set, it's up here for you to see. Yes, ma'am, in the back. 23. What is my maximum number? Yes, sir.
28.
28. All right. Can we find our range with 23 and 28? Yes, we can. Cristiano, what am I going to do? What? I can hear what you're saying. 28 minus 23. Yes. 5. Perfect. So our range for our entire data set is 5. Thumbs up if you got that. Hopefully we at least got that far. Kylie, your group didn't get that far? You didn't find the range?
I'm thinking, like, thinking wrong.
What do you mean you're thinking wrong?
I put 27 minus 20.
Did you forget the 28? Gotta be careful with that. Alright, now what do I have to do to find the rest of my information to finish answering this question? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? Leo. What do I have to do? Why am I calling on you? Are you counting the holes in the ceiling? Possibly? Leo, if I need to find my 5-number summary, and I have found my minimum and my maximum, what's the next thing that I have to find? Can I find my Q1? But do I have to do something before I find my Q1? What do I have to do? Find the median. Alright, so I need you guys to help me to make sure I don't make a mistake. So I'm going to cross off from the beginning to the end until I get to the middle. Oops. So Leo, what is my median? 25. All right, thumbs up if we agree our median is 25. That's what you guys came up with? No? Did you get something different? Nothing? Okay, I didn't see. All right, so now, how do I find my Q1? What do I need to do? How do I find my Q1? Nico, how do I find my Q1? I can't hear anything. Right, so remember, take your hand, cover it up. Am I including my median in this? Why? Why do I not include the last? Because it's the middle part and there was only one number, right? All right, so I am left with 25 and 24. Is that what you guys came up with? All right, so what's in the middle of 25 and 24? Zoe?
23.
What's in the middle of 25 and 24?
23. Wait, no, not 23. Wait, hold on. I'm confused.
All right, so listen to what
Read.
Blake, ready?
My
I don't know. Just by himself? Yeah, go down the stage. All right, so what number falls between 24 and 25? If you're not sure, what's our strategy that we need to do? Can we add them up, divide by 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mikhail, 24 and a half. Is that what you guys got? Yes, no? Alright, I like your approval back there. Thank you for the enthusiasm. I'm gonna go with it. Alright, so you should have 24 and a half for your Q1. How do we find our Q3? How do we find our Q3? From the beginning? From the end? To the beginning, back and forth? No.
From the beginning to the end.
No. We're finding our Q3. How do we find Q3, y'all? Lord have mercy. Guys, we just spent an entire class period where y'all were like rocking and rolling with this. How do I find Q3? It's not a trick question. Nothing has changed with the process. Tosh. Yep. And then you get 227, so what's our Q3?
27.
27. Alright, so how do I find my IQR? How do I find my IQR? Delilah. So I'm gonna do 27 minus 24 and a half, and what do you get? You don't know, or you didn't get that? Do it right now, raise your hand. Troy. 2 and a half. Alright. That is our lesson on quartiles and interquartile range. So you are going to get a cool down. Please make sure that you read all of the directions on your cool down. Listen guys, I don't know why y'all are moving until you do it. Stop moving. You have this sheet that you can use today, as well as the notes from yesterday to help you with this. I highly recommend, if you're a little confused, obviously I want you to raise your hand. We will help to the best of our ability without giving you the answer. But I also want you to use your notes a little bit. See if that will help you first. Okay? Make sure you answer these questions fully and completely. When you get it, you can turn it into myself or to Miss Butler, or when you finish, you turn it to myself or Miss Butler. Please make sure you put your name first and last. There are a lot of same names in both of these classes, so. Yep, go ahead. If you're sitting on the floor and you want to move to the table so it's a little bit easier, that's fine. Or you want to lay down, that's fine. Completely up to you, whatever makes it easiest. Got one. Yeah, that is written on the page that it is. So forward back normal, like you have to. So there's no talking.